Hi, and welcome to a new episode of the Social Intelligence and Conversation Strategies series. My name's Richard Gray, and I'm happy to have you along whether you're watching me on the live stream or whether you're listening to me on the podcast. So, today we're talking about social skills and 5 different ways or 5 different areas for developing your social skills. So, this is both a quick win and a long-term sort of episode. It's not a conversation strategy episode where you can apply it straight away to a conversation. This is 5 different areas, 5 different enablers that's going to allow you or free you up to develop your social skills on a much more rapid basis or more freely than you're able to do so now. Because let's say you've come from your childhood to where you are right now today, and let's say you've got knocked off track at some point through perhaps shyness, which has maybe developed into social anxiety, or you've had a lot of negative role models in your life, or through your peers, through whatever history you've got, and you've not been able to develop your social skills in the way that you would have liked. You've not been fully absorbed into um, being able to mix with other children and other teenagers and then other adults. And so you've not had that opportunity to develop social skills. And I don't know about the school that you went to, but I know certainly the schools I went to, there was no social skills classes. So social skills is something traditionally or through your school years that you only develop through talking to other children and other adults. So if that wasn't a full opportunity for you, then of course you're going to be struggling as an adult. So if that's your mindset and you're here today because you want to really take your social skills to a new level, then to do so is to really be successful at this, you have to go full immersion. Now, it's the same principle whether you're learning to swim or whether you're learning a new language, whatever it is whether you're learning or whether you want to get wealthy in life, you have to go full immersion to be truly successful at it. I mean, take language. You could have some classes in your college. You could listen to some audio books. You could watch foreign language TV to learn the language, but generally you're only going to get to an intermediate level. But to really get yourself over the line, you have to go full immersion. And to be really, truly successful and fluent in that language, you really have to go to that country and surround yourself by the native speakers of that language. So this is true for social skills as well. To really become top level communicator, if that's how far you want to go, then you have to go full immersion. So of course you may not need to go that far. You may just want to get to the next level or the next step, but you're not really going the whole full immersion distance, in which case you could just take a few points from today. So I've got 5 points from you. Some of them you may not be able to implement today, maybe a year or two down the line, but maybe you can. Maybe some of them you don't want to implement, but maybe if you're going full immersion, then you're going to go full ahead on all 5. So without further delay, let's get stuck in. Number 1 is environments. So if you're stuck in a negative environment, then number 1 is to remove yourself from that environment. So wherever you are in life right now, the negativity might just be a part of the furniture because you're so used to it that you don't even notice it anymore. And because you're in that environment, you absorb the negativity as well. And you probably give that negativity back out because you're on rapport with the negative people. They're the people in your life, whether it's your friends down at the pub, whether it's classmates, whether it's work colleagues, whether it's your family members. Whatever environment and whatever people you are surrounded with by most commonly today, if they are negative people, whether when you get together and they start gossiping about somebody else, or just generally talking negative about life in general, and it's not it's never positive. It's always about something negative. And I'm sure you know these people. I've known these people in the past where everything is bad, everything is glass half empty. And you in order to have a conversation with them, then you have to be on that level too. So if you recognize this, then recognize also the harm that this is doing to you and your own personal brand, your own personality, this constant barrage of negativity that's coming towards you. So if you can remove yourself from this environment and find yourself a new environment to whatever degree you can do, maybe this strategy might take a year or two. Maybe you're stuck in an environment where you can't remove yourself from it. You don't have the resources just yet to do so, but you recognize what I'm saying. So you can start thinking and planning in your mind how you're going to move away, how you're going to remove yourself from it in the future, hopefully in the near future. So they say that with a problem or an issue, there's three ways of dealing with it. You either learn to live with it, which is perhaps what you're doing right now if you are stuck in a negative environment. So you learn to live with it, or you try and change that environment by trying to change the people in that environment. Say, hey, you always seem negative. You're always gossiping about this person. Let's talk about this today. Now, this approach is probably not the best option. Trying to change other people is not generally a good idea or a good strategy. Um, you're only creating a lot of hard work for yourself and probably a lot of disappointment at the end of the day. People don't want to be changed unless it comes from within. So that is number two. You either learn to live with the situation, you try to change the situation, or you leave the situation. And that's what I'm proposing for you today. If you are stuck in a negative environment, leave that environment. That is number one. Number two is the flip side to this. Put yourself in the company of people that you recognize as having good social skills. When you come across them and you recognize, hey, that's a good communicator. He can really talk with the girls. He has no problems getting dates. Start hanging out with this person, go out with them and see how they operate. Go to a college, university as a mature student if need be. Learn a new language. Take a class to learn a new language, and now you're in an environment with a whole bunch of new people, and you can find which ones of them have great communication skills, great social skills, and sit next to them and start building a friendship with them. Hang out with them. Get yourself into new situations where you can identify new people and find those people with the great social skills and start developing a new group of people. You are the measure of the five people you hang out with most. Apparently, that's the saying. So, in number one, if as we suggested, you're stuck with maybe five negative people that you hang out with the most, then you are the sum of those five people. Therefore, you are a negative person, and you are being harmed by that. So, put yourself in a positive environment with socially skilled people, and eventually you will become the sum of those five new people. So, number three on this journey of full immersion, read books, social skills books, personal development books. Not just books, but watch live streams like this, listen to podcasts or videos on YouTube or TikTok, wherever you find them. Full immersion. Now, back when I used to work for a company as a field engineer, I had about 3 or 4 hours a day just driving to different customers during the day. That was 4 hours where I couldn't really do anything else but drive and listen to the radio. So at some point, I started listening to audiobooks. This is a time when audiobooks were starting to grow and develop as an industry. So now there was this online company, a subsidiary of Amazon, and I'm not in any way trying to promote Amazon. I'm not a fan of Amazon, but Audible is a child company, I believe, of Amazon, and you can buy audiobooks, download audiobooks from there. I'm sure there's other online places that you can download audiobooks from too. Barnes and Noble, perhaps. Um, they're out there. Go find them if this interests you. And so instead, when you find yourself with that dead time driving to and from places or commuting, instead of listening to the radio or music, listen to an audio book. You can even put it on 1.5 times speed and get through it faster, absorb it faster, listen to it again, get a new book, listen to the new book. It's another way of absorbing and full absorption, full immersion into a world of social skills. So listen to social skills books, and this is generally better than any course you could go to in a university, because people that write these books have gone through it and they're talking from experience. Like I talk frequently from my own experiences, going from social anxiety to a stage speaker on occasion, or a live streamer. So these are the people to really learn from, those that have gone through these life experiences. So that's number 3. Listen, read, watch videos, live streams, podcasts, books, etc. Number 4, inspirational people. So it's taking number 3 to a new level. It's identifying masters of social skills, so to speak. So one person that, if I mention charisma, you might immediately think of this person, because the two seem to have become synonymous. And that person is Bill Clinton. They always say that Bill Clinton, whatever you believe about his politics or his personal life, is he has charisma. He has an abundance of charisma. And anyone that's been in his company always say the same thing. And I do believe he has released a course on charisma and leadership. So that might be something that interests you on your journey of full immersion if you go and look for that. So find these inspirational people, these leaders, prime ministers, presidents. Identify those that have got the social skills that you want to develop for yourself, and watch them, model them. This is how NLP first got going. It was based on modeling excellence in other people. So you can apply the same principle to social skills. Find somebody like Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, Winston Churchill, or whoever you identify as having exceptional social skills. Watch videos of them. Watch interviews of them. Watch whatever footage you can find and see how they interact with people. Their eye contact, their language patterns, how they pause in between sentences. They say that somebody that speaks fast is less confident because you're trying to get a sentence out before the other person, before the other person starts their sentence. But a confident person speaks more slowly, more assuredly, because they're confident and they know that what they're saying is interesting or worth listening to. They've developed that persona of confidence, and they know that people are willing to listen to them. And so they don't feel the pressure to speak fast before the other person starts getting ready and getting geared up to speak over the top of them and interrupt the end of their sentence, etc. So absorb these characteristics of how they speak, identify their characteristics and their points of excellence in their language and how it all comes together. So watch them, their body language, their speech patterns, their tonality, and try it out for yourself, like putting on a new pair of clothes. If you identify a particular nuance of a speaker and you like it, try it out for yourself. Experiment with it. Experiment with speaking slower and see what happens. Lower your voice. Margaret Thatcher was famous for well, I don't know if she was famous for it, but she, in her early career, she spoke with a more high pitched, sort of screechy voice. And she was advised that if she wanted to become prime minister, then she would have to retrain her voice to become more authoritative, which she did do. So famous people have done this. They've recognised what they need to change about themselves. They've perhaps had advisors to identify for them. You may not have the luxury of an advisor to say, well, this is what you need to do. So you need to go out and identify it for yourself. Now, finally, number 5 is mindset. So, and I'm going to use the analogy of wealth to illustrate this better, because often, let's say you see a really wealthy person, somebody that's going down the road in a Lamborghini, somebody who's got really opulent wealth and they flaunt it maybe. Well, maybe they don't just flaunt it, maybe they're just going about the business and you imagine that they're flaunting it. And you think to yourself, well, how did you get that money? You must have got some of it through deception. Who have you trod over to get all your wealth? And what kind of person are you, just shoving it in my face like that, driving around in your Lamborghini? You must be a really bad person. You must be corrupt in some way. You must have done some criminal stuff in order to accumulate that amount of wealth. And if you have that mindset towards a wealthy person, then you're never going to achieve that wealth yourself. Now, of course, we're not talking about growing our own personal wealth, but this is a lesson that comes from entrepreneurs to entrepreneurs who want to start and grow their own businesses and develop a personal wealth. And they say, first of all, you have to change your mindset. If you have the mindset that a rich person is corrupt in some way, then you'll never be able to become that rich person yourself, because to do so, you would have to become corrupt yourself in your own mind. So the lesson here is to view somebody with wealth in that context as being a good person. Think the best of them instead of the worst of them. And this applies in the context of today's subject of social skills. Appreciate those people with great social skills and think the best of them. Put yourself in their company, think the best of them, appreciate them, give them little compliments. Um, this is a great social skills strategy, by the way, which will develop in another live stream. So I won't touch on that any further. But there is specific ways and benefits of doing such a thing, and we will get into that maybe in the next live stream. I haven't planned that yet, but yeah, thinking about it, yeah, maybe we'll get into how to give a compliment and why you'd want to do so and why it's a good icebreaker. But for today, we've covered 5 points which you can start shifting your mindset today in order to open up your future and give yourself a more clear path ahead towards developing full immersion social skills. So, to quickly summarize then, number 1, remove yourself from those negative environments as much as you can do. And if you can't today, start planning how you might be able to do so in the near future. Number 2, the flip side of that, put yourself into the company of people with great social skills. Go out there, find them, put yourself in their company and start making them part of your 5 people that you hang out with the most. And it doesn't have to be physically, it can also be online. And this applies for number 1 as well. If you're hanging out in Facebook groups or chat groups or wherever these groups exist on the internet, if it's more of a negative environment, take yourself out of that environment. And now in number 2, we're saying put yourself into the positive environments where social skills are celebrated and talked about, like in this live stream. Make me one of your number 5 people for positivity and great social skills. Now, I'm not here saying that I've got the greatest social skills in the world, but I'm here talking about them and promoting them and celebrating them as well as being on my own journey, still to developing great social skills. And anyone with any wisdom and humility will say that your journey towards any goal never ends. Back many years ago, I trained in Kung Fu, and I was lucky enough to train with a world grandmaster of Kung Fu. Grandmaster, that sounds more like a chess master, doesn't it? But a master of Kung Fu. I believe he was asked to head up the Five Ancestors Kung Fu in Malaysia, but he lives in London, and that's not a journey he wanted to go down. But I was lucky enough to train with him, and he said that, he was in his 70s, I believe, at the time, and he said that he'd been on a lifelong journey, and he said he was still on his journey. So after all those years and reaching the real pinnacle and top of his particular field of interest, he was still on his journey. And anyone with wisdom will say the same thing. So consider it the same for social skills. The journey never ends, the developing never ends. So that was number 2. Put yourself in the company of people with better social skills so that you can raise yourself up. Number 3, full immersion. At least half an hour a day. Find your book, read it physically or listen to it on an audiobook. Watch a live stream, a podcast, or a video. Do something to put yourself in that environment of learning. Number 4. What was number 4? Number 4 was Inspirational People. Okay, I've got it. Number 4, yeah, so watch the masters of social skills like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Winston Churchill, or whoever you consider, maybe Tony Robbins. Watch them. Tony Robbins, you could even go to one of his events. I don't think that you could go to a Bill Clinton event anymore, although, as I've mentioned, he does have a course that you could attend. So if you can't physically attend one of their events, go to one of their virtual events. I know Tony Robbins does virtual now as well. Or just watch videos of them. There must be an abundance of videos from him and Dean Graziosi, Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, these are not people who are specifically teaching social skills, but they have enormous communication skills. So go watch them. Identify the people that you want to have as role models in your life. Watch them, learn from them, absorb them. Full immersion. Number 5, mindset. Appreciate them, think the best of them. So raise the energy and the vibration of your mind out of the negativity back from number 1 and raise it up to a new level. Leave people behind if you have to, in order to achieve your life goals and develop your own personal brand as a person that will be attractive to other people in your life, and and you'll become a role model yourself as well in the process. And isn't that something that you'd like to be? On that note, I'm going to say thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next live stream. And if you want to listen to previous live streams, go now, or when you stop driving, to liveconfident.com/live stream. I think I'm going to have a new page dedicated for these live streams coming up soon. So I'm going to have a new link for you, maybe in the next live stream or next week, or I'll put the link in the notes, but it's not there yet, but it's coming soon. And you'll be able to access the live stream directly or come back to a recorded version of it. And we'll put bonuses in there as well and really make it worth your while coming to.